2022 has been a rather lackluster year in the entertainment department. However, I can say with absolute confidence the latest season of Jack Ryan's television show is among the few pieces of media I actually enjoyed watching. It has a lot of things going for it that people love: action, a good cast of characters, and a pretty decent plot line. There's not a ton to dislike about the show. So why don't we kick off the latest adventure for the CIA analyst or field officer by this point in his career, Jack Ryan. While we never get a full timeline, I imagine it's been a few years since the end of season 2 after Jack Ryan, James Greer, and others took part in the events that led to President Maduro being ousted. Things really haven't changed for the CIA field officer as he's continuing to operate in the field and continuing to do what he believes is right. Season 3 is no different as Jack discovers a shelved Soviet plan from the Cold War was being resurrected by the Russian Federation, leading to a race against time to stop it. On one hand, I was intrigued by the idea of seeing how a European state like the Czech Republic handles being caught up in the middle of the geopolitical chess game played between the United States and the Russian Federation. The other part of the story I was able to enjoy was the cat and mouse game being played between the CIA and Jack Ryan. I do think the latter definitely felt contrived, but it did enough to not make me question it too much. But I do have problems with the main overall storyline of the Czech president being forced to play a balancing act with Russia and the United States. 1. The Czech Republic is a member of NATO in real life. We don't know the timeline, obviously, but we can tell it's the 21st century and it's years following the previous seasons. The fact that they aren't a member is almost hard to imagine. Number 2, apparently Ukraine allowed Russian troops to border Slovakia. That's They have to explain that because it kind of confused me, which they didn't. While I think it's possible to create a storyline around the Czech Republic, who is a member of NATO, and deal with the reality of being near Russia, which goes on in real life, these are minor aspects of the story I can live with. You know, can I say I didn't have questions? I definitely did have questions because there were some moments and some conversations when you realize this information in real life. It makes me kind of go, why is this a conversation? Right? So again, Russian troops are just allowed in Ukraine, apparently. Again, a small part of me wants to say it's just the political reality in the show's timeline, so I will give the show benefit of the doubt and just believe things are playing out very differently here, just like in the novels. The other big part of the storyline for season 3 is Jack Ryan discovering an old Soviet plant being brought back from the dead, which is referenced various times not only in modern day, but in various flashbacks with, Russian characters who are part of the Russian Federation and the Russian government. It leads Jack Ryan on a journey from Greece to Austria to Czech Republic and to Russia again, as he's trying to put together the pieces as to what's going on, but is soon caught up in the inner politics surrounding the CIA, as he's kind of going against the grain and doing things his way and doing what he believes is the right thing to do. Overall, some of it felt believable, and other parts of it felt a little too out there for me personally. Overall, I was fine with the main storyline throughout the season. If anyone has read the books, I don't think any of what season 3 did is insane or too far out there for anyone who, even thinks it's a little too much given what Tom Clancy has written in the past. Now, I do have to talk about some of the characters. I definitely enjoyed watching everyone from President Elena, James Greer, Mike November, and even Elizabeth Wright, who grew on me as the season went on because, man, did she have she's quite the abrasive person early on, but, she definitely transformed as the season went along, and it was nice to see that character develop. However, for me personally, I do think the unofficial star of the season was Luca, the Russian spy master, we'll just call him for simplicity's sake, right? And just see his transformation of how he was in some of the flashback scenes we got to see and to who he is now, and some of the lessons he imparts onto Jack Ryan as the season progresses. It's actually a really interesting little dynamic between the two of them and how they do things, right? Because Jack was all about do the right thing in that moment, don't even think about the consequences, while Luca, grew over time to he did some horrific things in the past, and he's slowly been trying to change as a person and to redeem himself for the things he did. Now, you will notice I left out a certain someone from that list. Well, not specific. I didn't reference him specifically. The actual star of the show, Jack Ryan. My thoughts on his character for the season are very simple. I feel like he's become more of an action hero in this particular season than even season 2, which I thought was already kind of pushing what I believed Jack Ryan to be and what I think a lot of people view him to be. Season 1 hit the sweet spot where it had him being the analyst and it's man and doing all the figuring out, doing all the clues, using his brain and kind of coming to the conclusion while still doing some field work. It really hit that sweet spot, right? Because he didn't take part in some of the things that happened in season 1. Those were taken care of by other people, like happens in the novels. So season 3 in my this is kind of the best way I can word it. Season 3 was mostly being on the run and doing a mini Ethan Hunt impersonation from the Mission Impossible movies. Now, before anybody asks me the golden question that came to mind, I still like the show's version of Jack Ryan overall. But this season really did feel all about the action and the adrenaline rush, and it kind of led to the plot being a little hard to believe at times and a little, you know, it being a little on the foundation behind it's a little on shaky ground, but I'm willing to give it, like I said, the benefit of the doubt. Also, a little side note, anyone who's going to ask about Kathy, I got news for you. It's season 2 all over again. Not a whiff, not a word, not even a thought. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, those are my thoughts on Jack Ryan Season 3. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, do what you gotta do, and I will see you guys next time.